Cheki maze, subscribe to Trudy Kitui YouTube channel. Click. Imeenda.
Mambo ni matatu.
And I said they shouldn't be arrested, and some are still being arrested. That was the first issue. It's continuous for us, So the county government, you see now what we must understand, we have the county government and the national government. The police are not under us. The council enforcement officers are under us. But I work closely with the police. So I keep talking to the OCPD of Central Police, please, stop this. And of course, if I need to make a bigger case with her boss or with the regional commander or with Minister Kindiki, I will do it to explain to them, because I know the president, you have goodwill of the president. But the officers who've known, here I'll get 5K, here I'll get 2K, here I'll get 3K. But then you guys have the tools. Expose these people, record them, get their service numbers. They're changing the uniform now, it'll have even the name. And we make examples of 2 or 3 of them, they'll stop it. You guys have the tools more than anybody else. So we have said it as county government. So long as people also don't abuse it. We can't have certain things also being filmed in the streets. Indecency. Yeah, umeamua sasa hii ngoma sasa watu wakuje ndeve sijui wabaye nini. Those ones we will not accept. For public decency. Yeah. And those ones you'll be arrested. Because there are laws that don't allow for it. But you're doing something within the law. On any day of the week, not just Sunday or Monday, you should be protected, you should be allowed. So with this system where you can get through to us, we'll be able to know. And sometimes also it will help if you notify us that I want to do this on Gala Street or on my avenue on this day. And Nyanita or the sector will know, Akina Shafi will say, okay. He will tell someone personally from inspectorate, please, hii barabara leo kuna hii inaendelea, kaini rada nao. When the cops come, my officers will protect you from those cops. So just let us know. It doesn't cost much. Let us know. Advertise with content creators. I didn't know you guys are open, and I'm glad to hear. So I just need to understand from my technical guys. I've seen Asha somewhere there, my chief finance officer. She has gone into another meeting. Whether there's a procurement law we need to abide by to have you guys available to be procured. The same way we procure the Star newspaper or the Nation or Citizen TV, we can say this is for social media, a budget. And if you put this budget for social media, then you guys can carry our ads on your platforms. But as a sign of goodwill, before we get there, please carry some of them. Look at Dish in a county kwanza. Because we're growing into it. It's a new space. I don't know if any county government has been advertising with you guys or national government. If they have, tell us how they've been doing it. We'd love to do it. But this thing is give and take. I give you this, you give me that. And we move forward together. So please share the videos for Dishi and for how guys can pay taxes. Or even talk about it. Mentions sometimes have more value than an ad that is seen as an ad. If you talk about it, but hey, maze leo nimechikimsa mfurahi Jojo hii kitu. Maze inawaka. It has bigger impact than advertisers' announcement. People they'll skip so quickly. And I'd rather pay more for that than for this thing. I skip ads like a nonsense. First I mute, then I skip. Then I pay for YouTube Premium. So that I don't have to be on those things, but you remember I raised that issue the other day in Stick House. Austin, Mr. Caliph. Yeah. When I was a kid, I used to come to Caliph a lot. Jasho. Is it Clemo or you Clemo later? I had friends from my school at the camp who used to live there, used to come for iftar and whatnot. Yo grawa ijakulu desa. Ni sisi tunafanya project. The project a county through a ward development fund. So the MCA has applied with his Hashim. I'm applying. He's using money from the county to do up the ground. Desa. Then matches appear bold desa. We will not charge people. It's not a private enterprise. There can be something small to maintain it when it's a big team. I mean, FC Leopards, if you want to train there, surely they take a whole day, we can charge those ones. But Otoyomta must be able to access that ground. So I know the issue of desa. And thanks for the thoughts on dish and accounting. It's a thing that gives people dignity, you know. Kunyima mtoi chakula ama kupata chakula kuwa na njaa, that's the one thing that either gives you or takes away your dignity and who you are as a person. Ms. Kilinji, SPM Buzz, what you've spoken about is a huge, it needs another session. Sexual harassment in public transport. The progress we've made so far with the players in the circles and the guys in transport is that we're able to self-peer review. I'm in a WhatsApp group with them, all of them. And whenever anything is put there that they can see, okay, this one is a problem, they themselves go hard on it. And there we have the police, we have my guys from transport, my guys from inspectorate. But we need to sensitize the public. And also sensitize our girls. Yes. Yeah? That you don't need a free ride, you sit in front with the matri. It is something that happened from the time as we were young. Kwanza matri za buru, number 2-3, number 5-8. Unakaa hapo, now you know those days the Kangi was the hottest guy on earth, the driver. We need also to give our young girls esteem. Correct. And tell them, you know, you're worth much more than that row from town and whatnot. For us, once we hear a case, I've set up a huge center with Esther Pasaris in Mji wa Huruma for gender-based violence. But I don't want someone to have to get to that stage. We need men speaking about GBV. He for she. When you have male voices telling other men and young people and people they look up to that Maze, this is not right, it's not cool, it's not the way to do it. You know, catcalling, whistling, going to, you know, and we make examples of people who do the wrong thing. I think we'll make a lot of progress with that. But once we realize this Matatu or this Sako has done that, apart from the criminal charges that they'll face, again I repeat, the police are not under us, but we work with them. Apart from the criminal charges they'll face, I will blacklist that Sako. You'll have no license in Nairobi. And so I make them peer review each other to make sure certain standards of professionalism are held within, I mean, our ladies must feel safe. I'm a dad of a daughter, I have sisters, you know. I would hate for them to go through some of the things I've seen. Some of those I've even dealt with personally. I've intervened. I don't want to mention them because of privacy, but I've intervened personally. It is the lowest thing a man can ever do, you know. So we support you, and the more ideas you have about that, please share with us on what we can do. But let's expose these people. Those are animals, you know. We can't play around with that. Those are animals when you do that. Is politics a dirty game? I think it first of all, when it's a game, it's a problem. Because it's life and death for most people. When politics is wrong, people die. People steal drugs that should have saved a life. People divert money that should have built a hospital. I think it's that it has dirty people. And the problem with society is evil is done when good people keep quiet and refuse to get their hands dirty because it's dirty. You know, we need more good people engaged, active. I've said again, if you're not on the table, you're on the menu. Some kiacha tu wakora wote na wanasimama MCA ama MP ama governor ama nini, then you expect them to govern properly. If someone has been like this throughout their life, you think they'll change when they get power or money? They won't change. And so that's why everywhere I get a chance, I tell people, you know what, join a party. How many of you are members of any party? You're a member of a party? Good. Join a party. Because you guys, you say you vote normally in the election, but you're not making a choice. What you're finding is a menu selected by other people during nominations in parties. So you come in to choose from a pre-selected menu of sometimes the worst of the worst. So as many people as can get, join any. I'd love you to join mine. But if you don't believe in its ideals, join another one. Join Azibio, join ODM, join UDA, join, be there. When there's nomination, join Wajakoyas, but don't overdo what it does. But if you're not in it, there's a proper guy. I admire this guy. I admire Ngoma. He's so nice. I wish you win. But if I don't come to vote for your nominations, you will not win it. I'll be left with another 2 people to vote for. It is real. And I think now Nairobians and Kenyans are realizing that actually who you elect can affect your life directly, every day, positively or negatively. So it's a whole other discussion of how to get people. Just some countries like Australia, voting is mandatory. You must vote. It's a crime not to vote. In Kenya, the voter turnout, if you look at it in the last election, it was so low, and especially for young people, it was so low that sometimes you question, do we really have the entire mandate of the people? So instead of representation of the people, it becomes representation despite the people. And so that's something I can talk the whole day about. Let's and let me ask you guys. Simko kama WhatsApp group. Have you seen a WhatsApp group for the estate? Kuna mchango kwa estate ama kwa familia. Wanauliza nani atakuwa treasurer. The standards are so high. Baba kama uzizi. Hii tupatie Mama Shiro. You guys mnachanga 50k. The standards are so high on who is the treasurer or who is the chairman. For 50k mchango. But you have 40 billion in Nairobi. Because you don't own it. Because you don't think it is yours. It is somebody else's. And that's why I keep saying a campaign like I am Nairobi, when you know it is yours. That someone who you will not even trust with your kiosk to run or to babysit for you a child for an hour, you have to trust with your future. We must own our city. We must take it back. Then the standards will go high. Bonke West, muuliza maswali part 2. First, thank you for being in love with Nairobi. Me, I'm in love with Nairobi, man. I've never been away from this city for 21 days imeshikana. Tangu nizaliwe. Nimeenda kila mahali 10 days narudi. Hata hocha niko na siku 2 narudi. Hii ndio hocha yangu huko ndo home. But we need to move that love to something practical. You guys have platforms. I love what you're doing on yours. I love what many of you guys are doing. Sometimes on top of the other content you create, talk about the city. Let's hype it. Africa's capital. Let's create a brand. You guys think about what is the brand? What is it we are selling? We have so much. This is the center of the world. From Dubai you're in Nairobi in 5 hours. From London you're here in 8 hours. From New York in 13 hours. The weather. Look, the people. We have what? By the way, unajua vile watu wa Nairobi wajatembea. Wewe enda Nairobi. Hata Lami, Lagos hakuna. The airport ni kama ofisi ya kamba. They don't even have a national carrier. Our internet is the fastest on the continent. There's so much going for us, but zile mnaongea tu ni I don't know if I should go into it. Mnaongea tu vitu negative. Sometimes get time to talk about, boast about us. Yeah? Yana ku experience wasema uliza watu wa UG mko na kitu kai. Uliza watu wa TZ. Hii mtaone hapa ama London. Let's brag about who we are. Because let me tell you, I know so many diplomats who are my friends. Time yao ikiisha ya Nairobi, they resign and they stay. They're still here. US ambassadors, UK ambassadors, they love it because they've seen other places. Nini mnangoja tu nikaweza kuomoka, nikavuka border, mtarudi tu. So we also need to positively show what is working, even as you help us sort out what is not working. Not everything is working. There's issues with the environment. There are places which are still dirty. The guys who used to collect garbage when I was a kid are still the ones there today. That's why I'm hiring 3,500 youth. Zile kamera zilikuwa zamani. Today, and I give an example. Embakasi East. It's a huge constituency from Mihangu, Utawala, mpaka Doni. It has 3 guys who are supposed to clean it. 3. And they are above 55. How do you expect that place to be clean? Alafu pia, since you don't own it, kuna madhe uko Kahawa market ananiuliza, and I was there. She's selling fruits and vegetables. She asked me, mbona hapa amukoti uchafu ni chafu? I'm like, you out of your mind, outside your stall, and it is your things. We must move from haki yetu to wajibu wetu. If everyone swept outside their house, the world would be clean. We must also take our responsibility. I'll do my part. We're putting the bins. Ubaya zile tuliweka zilikuwa vandalized, zikaibwa, chuma zinatumia scrap metal. Now we're using another material, some fiberglass ambayo watu waskripa watachukua. But once I've shown you, that's where you dump. This is how often we'll collect it. I've bought 27 refuse compactors. I've bought 27 tippers in the last 2 weeks. I'm hiring 3,500 young guys. We're doing waste to energy for the first time in Dandora dump site. Kutengeneza 45 megawatts of electricity. But now if you're driving and you throw out a bottle, how do you blame me? In a few weeks, El Nino is coming. What causes flooding here in El Nino? Illegal dumping. Ni kanjo in a dump. See me? It's us. So when you're doing that campaign, I'll ask you guys to help us, because we've mapped out all the hotspots of the areas that are prone to flooding, the issues there. Unapata mtu ameka container kwa drainage. Anafati mboka ni mboka. When I remove those illegal structures, bado ni nyinyi mnapiga kelele. Na zikibaki kuflat, bado ni nyinyi mnapiga kelele. How do we work together to sort that out? You know, just food for thought for you to think about. Yes, parks lazima zikuwe kila mtaa. Si Uhuru Park peke yake na Jivanji. Ukienda saizi TRM towards Roysambu, hata hiyo base kwa barabara ni I'm doing that park. We're doing that park. Jacaranda, we're in talks. High Rich Teachers College are the ones who own that land. And told them, please hand this back to the county. Isikuwe tu mali ya maandamano na mikutano za sijui bunge la mwananchi na siasa. Pia kwa place ya recreation. Recreation, the built environment gives people dignity. In the US, in the Bronx or Harlem, what they did a social experiment. They fixed broken windows. They painted the estates. Crime went down by 40%. Yani hata dingo anasema easy place ya kuiba, because of just the built environment. And so this is what we're doing. Help us highlight and stop the negative aspects of it. So we want to do parks, first of all, in all the sub-counties. So we're starting with the 5 boroughs. So we create boroughs: Nairobi North, East, West, South, and Central. Instead of kuja City Hall, unaweza kuwa served hapo. So we'll start with each borough, and then we go down. But from now, we've said in the building code, if you're coming for approvals from us to build apartments or an estate, there must be green spaces. There must be places for our kids to play. Si tulicheza bano, tulicheza shake, tulicheza kati. Siku hizi watu wengi wanacheza tu PS na Xbox, wananona, obesity, mental health. So we must create those safe spaces, and we're reclaiming grabbed land. This morning I spoke about Mbakasi East, Tasia. As in tuko na hosi ni yetu imefunguliwa na former president akianzisha. Hosi iko hapa pale nimekaa, for instance, ndio wards. Kwa ile mti kuna lab. Hapa katikati kuna mtu amegrab amejenga apartments zimefika 7th floor. You know what I've told that person? Thank you for your donation to the county. Those rooms are going to tutafanya finishing. Hizo ni manyumba za manases na clinical officers are fence the place. Because if you don't deal with that, mambo ni matatu. Yeah. That's the only way we deal with them. Otherwise, if I start getting into negotiation, tuende kotini, itabaki nimelipa mtu amegrab land ya Nairobi. Between the ward and the incinerator, a guy who was a very senior officer of NSSF, because that was a surrender from NSSF, anasema hiyo kiwanja yako aje. But when you do these things, you guys don't highlight. Mna highlight tu zile negative. Oh, Sakaja alionekana sijui na dem gani. Sijui Sakaja asijui amedunga nini. You know, let's focus on what will change our country. And you guys are so powerful, you don't know. You have so much power on your phones, on your thumbs, on your platforms, with your voices. Let's try even 2 years too. So for 2 years, let's try this experiment. We'll see how far we can go. So, sporting facilities. James, you also asked about that. First of all, thank you for number one coming, taking the invite seriously, and being here. I don't take it for granted. Many others were invited. You know, there's what we're used to. Hii ni ile tu kawaida usifanya nini, but I purpose to sit here, engage with you, but this is the most important session. Leave the other sessions are good for the audience, but this is the most important session. So I want to thank you so much. Now, we've asked many questions. I've asked Susan to come. She's our CEC for health, wellness, and nutrition and school feeding. Justin is my PA, and so he knows how I think on many things. And so if I don't answer any of the concerns, he will be able to answer. Priscilla and David are busy doing other things, and so I've excused them, and Koi is busy coordinating this. So guys, thanks. You know, as I said earlier, when I was not a governor, or when I was not a senator, I craved to have such a session with whoever was in those positions. And so I always remind myself that kama hungekuwa hapo, what would you have wanted? I'd have killed for such a session. That the top decision makers of the county can listen to you, and from here, a decision can be made. Something can change. Impact can be felt. This is extremely important for us. The place of the creative economy and you guys in the life of Nairobi is magic. You know, it's everything. You guys can turn so much, but many times I think you don't realize because of how much you've not been recognized. You know, I like what you said earlier when you're here, but at least we feel seen. And I told you, not just seen, but heard. And not just heard for, you know, they were hearing that noise there, and we're hearing cars on the road, listened to. So a lot of what you've raised, the ideas, are actually going to form part of our policy interventions and the things we will actually do. And as someone has asked, we will tell you that we've done this out of the question you raised. This is the beginning of a relationship, Patricia, and an engagement that I hope will last. So the first thing I'm asking for is trust. You know, let's have trust between us. I really mean what I say. And when what I say can't be done in such a time, I'll tell you, this is the hurdle, but this is what we can do, this is what we're doing. That's why I created that sector she was in charge of before, of inclusivity, and I wish Anita was here. Most of my executives in Mombasa, they're doing something on performance contracting. So let me go right into it. And then, I think is it better if you speak first or me? I'd rather speak so that you don't contradict me. Okay. I think it's better to start from the last, going back. Where's Nyawira? There you are. So for Nyawira, quickly, the low-hanging fruits, you've worked with Youth Plus and whatnot, how you interact with the county going forward, how you guys get an engagement. You see, Nairobi is a government. I have currently like 15,000 staff. I have 17 sub-counties, I have 85 wards. Even that Kanjuga you meet reports to me somehow. And so that's why we created a sector where you should be able to be heard and to be listened to. And this question, especially for your sector, I will allow Susan to be able to take it, because they're working on not just a customer service desk, but a place where you bring an issue. Once an issue has been flagged, I have a dashboard where I can see this thing was brought, it was flagged, it's from this sector, it has not been responded to, it has not been escalated. I told my guys the other day that one of the principles we're applying in this financial year is an obsession with the customer. Just to be obsessed with the Nairobian. Because ultimately the interest of the customer, which is the resident, aligns very perfectly with our interest as a county government. And so you'll see things happening in that space. We're setting up the customer service desk. And it's all those ones for fire and emergency press war. Not just that, but to be listened to be heard and to get feedback. And we're putting serious investment on that. One of the guys I'm working with had done it in Safaricom, Twiga, and I'm telling him, come. But this is different. We don't have a profit imperative. Nairobi County is not trying to make profit. We're trying to serve the citizens. And so for you guys, apart from just the specific sector, and I wish Clemo was here, he's also in Mombasa, and Nelita, Susan will be able to tell you, this is who you plug into, we'll have this often meetings. And the good thing with doing a quarterly meeting is you track progress. The last time we came, we raised this, what has been done. I've seen it with the matatus, I've seen it with the market people, I've seen it in many sectors where we've done it, it's working. So every other meeting now becomes a review meeting before new issues are brought up. And so Susan will be able to take that. But thank you so much, Nyawira, for that. We can take advantage, and it costs us very little. That's why it's a low-hanging fruit. You know, it don't cost us much. Now, my brother from Homeboys, who celebrate Wasani, I always wanted to see a Kalamashaka road, you know, or Hardstone. There was a petition from South Sea guys for ISA, yeah, and Nameless was really pushing it. We've aligned our street naming process in terms of how the community can ask, so that you don't suddenly wake up tomorrow and see Sakaja road everywhere. You know, me, I don't want a road named after me. But there are people who, not just in the creative sector, in the life of Nairobi, you know, like John Gaku, the mayor, Magic Mike, the guys who have done things, contributed to this city that need to be recognized. And so for this space, we'll democratize it. I ask you guys, is there someone you recommend who we need to honor? There's a National Heroes and Honors Council that does it for the national level, but for Nairobi, we'll bring it down to us. Who are our heroes? Watu kaole wanatambua nani? Kuna madhe maybe alikuwa anasaidia watu huko for years, and everyone has gone through her hands. She needs to be recognized. It's not just at Francis Atwoli Road, Raila Odinga Way, Kenyatta, no. Our local heroes. And so from the creative economy, you see the problem with the creative economy, which is just how we are as creatives, hatupendi kupangwa. And so because of that, you see akina Big Ted have started something, kwani hao ndo ma-artist. You start yours, kwani ni nyinyi. No, nini starts his. I wish one day we'd get into one creative economy thing for content creators. Because if you're not organized, you'll not be recognized. You'll have no space on the table. And I keep saying, if you're not on the table, you're on the menu. So, if you want to be on the menu, but I would want us, if you'd allow us to structure something, would you guys accept to fit into it? Mtakubali? So that egos, unaona, sasa ego yanza, he closed to her, mwingine, he closed.
It should be collaborative.
It should be collaborative. Yes. You know. But the problem with democracy is that you hardly always agree. So also leave a chance for leadership. So give it 60% leadership, 40%. If you don't agree, we'll tell you how. And if someone wants to engage, plug into it. We've done that with Mathiris. Mathiris were the worst guys. Sijui Umoina wako hapa, Aroji wako hapa, sijui za Langata. We told them, listen, this is how we're organizing you on your corridors, on your routes. If you want to engage with us, use this platform. It's working perfectly. So we'll be able to do that, my brother Luther. Decorate our cities. There's something we're doing. And actually, I'd like you guys to plug into. Many places you're saying are not Instagrammable. And they don't have iconic signs, you know, like a Nairobi sign here. The thing we've had for a long time is KICC, you know, where you come and you hold your hand and you covered it. And the current creatives are finding spaces around Poster, the old buildings. And so I was able to get 250 million shillings for downtown CBD to make the pathways wider, to create walking spaces. And so I'll ask Justin to connect you guys with the technical team. So ITDP and Engineer Tiro. And so how do we get you? Who do you call? So that's one of the questions. So we didn't put it out so that you can come and say, okay, you guys know if this street was designed this way, we get better photos. And the sun rises from this side, and you guys know, you know all those things that I keep learning every day. You know, stand facing this place, we need something this height because of people's general height, etc. So we'll get a representative from you people who understands videography and film. And how many of you guys are in the photography space? mtanipea mtu mmoja. Si cheo, hakuna mshahara. It's just to coordinate. So to connect them with Siro and Engineer Kitonga. Because we are using this money now.
Yeah.
In a short while. So please plug into it now. So you can say now, Luthuli looks like this and it's helping us do this. Another part of town, Woodville Grove, I've said let's make it one way. But this will be electric city, electric avenue. Make it one way, create bigger space. From Friday to Nafunga Barabara, guys set up the umbrellas, restaurants have your fresco lunches and whatnot. And more such spaces. Cities are about walkability.
Yeah.
That you can walk, enjoy yourself, and there are those dustbins, there is whatever you require. So that will make sure we do. Segera, creative spaces. Now let me explain, and I think this answers 2 or 3 people's questions. Today, if Jay-Z was to come to Kenya, ata perform what? Kasarani.
No,
the acoustics,
that's where they
or Beyonce.
Yeah, that's where they
So we have a program, a project that we're doing. What is currently Green Park Terminal in town? So no Green Park. I said it on Citizen. I don't know if anyone watched on JKL. And I think I'll start a podcast soon. So I think you guys can be watching. I'll start a podcast. Who can help me do that? I need a this idea. Apple?
Pineapple Studios will do that.
You can set me up something else so I can be. Okay. So we've said this is the highest real estate in Nairobi, the most expensive, 13B. It's beautiful. It's right next to town, the iconic buildings. Uhuru Park is on one side, next to it is a golf course. It was made into a bus stop. So I've changed that. And now we're getting investors coming in, PPP. Last evening, you remember, the Chinese ambassador was saying, if you had a restaurant, a food court, where people can get food from every country, 50 countries or so, it will be full throughout for that cuisine. So I have the designs. We're doing hotel towers, but a convention center. That you can have a proper sound auditorium theater, 10,000 capacity meeting, 20,000 performance venues that are affordable, accessible. So imagine someone comes from Maju, Unankwa Airport. I've given them now an exit from the expressway there. Exit Kungia Tao. To say you have to go to museum or come out at Capital Center. So we're doing an exit of the expressway there, but you get into that Nairobi Convention Center and we'll create that space. On top of that, because we can create all the spaces, we want to incentivize the private sector. If you're doing a huge development, if you provide for the creative economy, if you provide for playgrounds, we incentivize you, we charge you less, we tax you less. I think that can help. More people can do that more than just what we're doing. Now, kule mtaani, what we've agreed with the MCAs, because the MCAs are the ones who pass the budget, is to make sure that in every sub-county, 5 wards come together, there must be a place where there's a studio, there's like a small place people can perform, it's accessible, you don't charge commercial rates, and you're able to do it. That one we've put even in our budgets for us to be able to do. Many guys have talent but hawezi afford. When they sijui Calif Records, when they, all these big guys, you can't afford it. But the talent is there. So even in the informal settlements, we want to put those now creative spaces for production. Not everybody will buy a mixer, not everybody has a guitar, not everybody has instruments. That's something we're doing. And I think once we structure this engagement and these teams, then we know how you guys plug in. Because then you don't need all this equipment for this level of production. Now we'll have more contests and competitions, so our talent comes up. When we see talent that is bankable, we will support them. And we will pay for an album, pay for a video shoot, pay for, because also that investment is needed. Currently, corporates have not been able to come into the creative space because they have not been incentivized, and that's at the national level. So we'll do our part when it comes to that. You have anything on that?
I'll start with that one for the funding bit in terms of identifying talent and then supporting it. So recently at Cabinet we passed the festival fund that will allow us to have some flexibility in terms of how we use our money for artists. So the engagement has always been, we would like to support you. As a county, we try to see how we can give you the best environment to, if you're doing a gig, how best do we support you, but we couldn't support you financially because there's no legal framework for it. So ideally what we did is we would give you an ambulance, or we would give you a fire truck, which is a requirement that you should have. If there's advertisement that you would do, that you require to pay some sort of fees to the county, we would waiver that for you to reduce your costs. But now moving forward, there's now a structure that we can be able to actually give some sort of sponsorship, or we can jointly go into some sort of venture that would make money for both of us. So now we have a structure for that moving forward. So, and in fact now when we do those competitions, then we have a fund that we can actually support the artists with the money to do what they need to do. Do I go into the other details that I wanted?
Of the things I've covered, so we don't because
yes, all the things you've covered. Yes. So in terms of customer service and how you can get in touch with us. So both touched on a few things, but I just want to emphasize. So we are going to we are setting up a hotline, which will have different ways you can access different things in the county. So instead of looking for somebody or getting so many different numbers to call the county, we will have just one, and then whatever your request is, it will be directed to the right person. So we're even setting up a call center for people who will actually man that and make sure that you get in touch with whoever you need to.
And they have to get back to you. If they don't, I will know.
Yes.
Yeah. So that escalation, IT is helping us.
Mm-hmm.
If something is there, it's still red, no one has responded to, I know who must answer to it.
Yeah.
Because that is a big problem.
Yes. So in addition to the call center, also the system that will allow us to track. We will also have that My Nairobi app, which you mentioned briefly. So we've worked to develop something that you can have access also now on an app, be it payments, be it queries about specific parts of our sectors of our county. So whether you want to pay your land rates, you want to pay for parking, you want to consult, what kind of license do I need for this specific business? All that information will be on the app. We are working with Safaricom to make sure that is done. But also it has that component of Talk to Sakaja. So we've put it as a general thing for now, while we see what kind of queries or comments or suggestions that we get, and then we will keep modifying it as we go along. So we will know that, okay, these are proposals for partnerships with counties. The more we see which kind of proposals we're getting, then we'll segment them by sector. So maybe this is a health proposal, maybe this is a finance proposal, maybe this is a sports proposal. So we'll continue to modify it as we go along. But for now, it is a general one, and you can download the app. Actually, it's on your Apple Store.